Hi, my name's Lisa and I live in this little tiny vintage caravan, traveling around from place to place and making money on the side by doing a bit of saxophone busking. Recently I was offered a part-time job working at the check-in counter at the camping showgrounds I was staying at, working from 4 to 6 each afternoon, just helping customers check in, and I was really happy because it meant that I got my camping for free, which was awesome, saving me a couple of $100 a week, and everything was going really great and I was really enjoying being here. In my last video I told you how I was so super excited because I met the Iceman Wim Hof while I was out busking, and that just put me on such a high for that day. Then a strange thing happened. I rolled back in from that amazing experience, and Pete had told me this morning that he was going to be leaving again on Friday, and he said, and you make sure you're going to be back here, you're going to be back here in the office after that, right? And I said, yeah, yes, as far as I know, And he goes, oh, good. He goes, don't let anyone else take it away from you. That's the words he said. And then one of the girls here does the cleaning of the toilet blocks. She said she was exhausted and she needed a break. And she'd asked me this yesterday, would you mind doing it in the mornings, just because I need a break? And I kind of was a bit iffy about it because I have to be really careful. I mean, yes, my rheumatoid is in remission technically, but I have learned that if I push myself physically, and I've tried it in the past. I've done waitressing jobs and things that are, labor intensive. If I do lots of cleaning, when I was in Brisbane, if I cleaned the house a lot, and anything that's strenuous over work, I will get sore. And I never know if it's an RA thing, but it always scares me. Like, I don't want the rheumatoid arthritis to come back, and I don't want to give it any reason to. And when that happened with my arm from busking too much, there was a moment of panic, like, is this RA? I mean, that's why I'm going to go to the doctor and just check, just to make sure it hasn't raised its ugly head again. But I was very wary, and also knowing that I'd been told to rest this, because I did end up in hospital with that arm pain, just in case it was a heart attack, because it did crawl up my left arm and overtake my shoulder, and I had to get it checked out. It's fine. I was fine. But I am going to get it checked just to make sure it's not a rheumatoid thing. So I'm very, very, very cautious about undertaking too much physical hard labor. But I thought, well, it's only for a week. It's only in the mornings. And I could see she really needed a break. And so, attitude of service and kindness. And I just thought, I can do that. I mean, it was a bit difficult because that's why I only was busking for an hour today, because it's hard for me to do both, to do the cleaning in the morning and because I usually have to leave in the morning to get up to busking, because by 2 o'clock it's usually all over as far as people walking around and stuff. So you want to get there kind of 10:30ish, 11:30, midday at the latest, and if you want to do just a couple of hours. But I thought, well, I can do that for her. She needs a break, and I know what that must be like. She's got a couple of kids as well, so I said, yes, I'll take the cleaning job, and I did that this morning with her, and then I went busking after that. Well, yeah, as I'm coming back from busking, I see the boss here. He's usually out on his lawnmower, round and round and round. Poor thing, he has to mow almost 24/7. I do feel for him. He's a really sweet, lovely guy, and he's always been very generous to people who have a situation where they're like, I've got nowhere to go, especially locals, or if you're working here. He's kind of been a bit lenient on the length of stay and let us stay longer, and I've always been really thankful for that, because it's been nice to have this kind of as a place to just stay a while when I really wasn't ready to get back on the road again. And the job was really a bonus on top of that. So yeah, I found him because I hadn't seen him for a couple of weeks, and he hadn't been talking to me, and we had one incident where there was one lady here who was just causing a bit of trouble. I won't go into details because I'll explain why in a minute. Things have come back to bite me on the butt, obviously. But apart from that, I was loving the job. People seemed to really like interacting with me. I was really helpful because I know this area really well. I can tell you where's a good place to eat, where's a good place to visit on a rainy day. You know, they're asking me, people ask you lots of questions like, where's a good place for this, that, and the other. And I could guide them to all these different things and tell them about the beautiful river hole that most people don't know about, and the beautiful walks and the things to see and do around this place with pride and joy, because I'm genuinely happy to be here. Always cheery, always happy to hear people's stories. And man, did I hear a lot of stories. Like, people, for some reason, I don't know what it is about that counter, but I'd hear people's life stories and their woes and their mishaps and their tribulations. And, you know, I provide comfort and reassurance. And I really tried to be, you know, really congenial as much as I could. And I think I did a really good job at it. I really do. I can't fault my performance as an employee. I was never late. I was always on time. The money should have been always square because I was really pedantic about keeping record of everything and, you know, doing everything that I didn't make any mistakes in that office at all. And in fact, a few days before Pete came back, just thinking, you know, in case Pete did come back, the whole place had gotten really dusty and dirty, and the kitchen was all grimy, and there was dirty dishes in the sink, and it looked like cobwebs. It was just, the whole shed was really dirty. And I cleaned the whole thing, and I cleaned the sink and washed the dishes and put everything away, made it all tidy and wiped everything, all the benches, and gave it a really nice clean up, you know, just to make it nice. And oh yeah, all I can say is I really don't think I did anything wrong. But when I said to Dean, you know, just checking with you that I just found out Pete's leaving on Friday, and so, you know, is that cool if I'm back in the office from Friday afternoon? And he said no. And he was not looking very happy about talking to me at all. And I was a bit shocked. I said, what's going on? He goes, no, Lisa, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be allowed to go back in the office. You can, you know, he goes, the office, the Big Show Society office actually wanted to kick you out. And I only, you know, it's only because of me that you're being allowed to stay at all. And I was like, what's happened? He goes, we've had several complaints about you. I'm like, complaints about me working in the office? And he said yes. And I said, I've only had a problem with one person there, one woman who is incredibly manipulative, and everyone else knew what was going on. Like, even the guy that worked in the morning had issues with her. Other campers had issues with her. Dean had issues with her. I had issues with her, to the point where I couldn't deal with her anymore. And when she came, I'd just roll the door down, and I just wouldn't, because Dean had said we didn't have to deal with her, that she could deal directly with him. That was the deal. So when she kept turning up again, I was like, no. I mean, she would turn up after hours and come to my caravan door and, oh, I didn't pay, you know, and she was always skipping days and pretending she'd paid. She'd say, oh, I gave that money to the other person that works in the morning. I gave that money to that person. I gave that money to that person. And I'd been keeping track, and she was definitely playing us all to the point of just not paying at all. Very strange situation. Supposedly homeless, living in her car. There was never any signs of this person having any belongings with them, but yet always being in a different outfit every time. Things just weren't adding up, and I'm thinking, why are you here? Where else are you going? And maybe, what is it about the story? Like, most people come here and they'll tell me their story and their situation, but I never ever found out what her situation is. She'd try very hard to find out everything about me or whoever else she was talking to. Very strange person. I just got bad juju vibes from her, and she told me that I had dark energy. I think that's probably what really put me offside. Was one time she said to me, she came up to the office, she goes, oh, and this is all part of her, she would deliberately kind of discombobulate you while she was going to go pay for like one day, even though she'd been there for 3 or something like that. She goes, oh, who have you been talking to in the last 24 hours? Your energy is totally different from what it was last time I saw you. And I'm like, nobody. Have you been texting somebody on your phone or something? I was like, no. She goes, oh, there's a shift in your eyes. She goes, I can't even look. There's a really dark energy. I can't even look at you, you know. My dark energy was because I just called her out for the fact that she was trying to get away with not paying for the last few nights that I knew she'd been there for, and writing down today's date on the sign-in form. Like, so I knew. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep my eye on this one. And then she started going to Dean and, you know, saying things about me. And he was like, at first saying like, oh, she's, you know, we all know she's a problem, but give her enough rope. This is what he said to me: give her enough rope and she'll hang herself. I've given her one more chance. And then another camper got really upset about it. They came to me and sort of didn't really want to tell me, but she'd done some things to really upset them. And so I was kind of like, okay, this isn't good enough anymore. And I sort of let Dean know that this woman is causing problems, you know. Anyway, she's caused problems, all right. So apparently there's been emails sent to the Show Society from supposed other campers here who he won't tell me what has been said, he won't tell me who has said it, but that it's come from the top and they want me out. And he was very firm, quite angry in his tone of voice and his expression, basically making me out like I was a bad human, and that I'd done a bad thing. And that actually really did upset me, because I know in my heart I'm a good human, and I know that everyone I interacted with enjoyed the experience of interacting with me. It's just a shame. I wish now I'd said to them things like, can you write a letter, you know, saying what you said to me about how, you know, what's your name? Oh, thank you so much. You've been so helpful, you know. There's not one other person I dealt with, that I had a problem. I was happy to talk to them all. It's hard and exhausting and peopling, you know. It was only a couple of hours a day, so I could do that. But you know, I would like a little bit of time out from people afterwards, but not to the point where I was like, oh, I hate this job, I can't stand it. Never once. Loved it, was thankful for the opportunity, really thankful. I felt I had a purpose, I had a schedule, I had a sense of self-worth because I was working and I was contributing and I was valued and I was appreciated. And those things were really important when you've been kind of a bit homeless and discarded feeling for a long time. So to have that taken away in a way that I will never know what exactly, apart from one person, I can't believe that he would make his mind up on that based on one person. And he's telling me, and then he turned around and told me that Pete had also said that he didn't want me back in the office, and it just didn't add up. I'm like, Pete, who I spoke to this morning, who told me, you know, I hope you're coming back into the office. Pete, who I sit and have a chat with because we've been mates for years, like, we get on great. This doesn't add up. And I asked Pete, I said, why did you do that to me? And he goes, do what? And I said, Dean said that you don't want me back in the office. And he said, I never said any such thing. So now I've got to work out who's lying to me. Is somebody's lying to me. And this sneaking suspicion that it's probably something to do with this one particular woman who I really had just said I couldn't deal with anymore. And I don't know what's been done. Yeah, there's a lot more to things about what was going on that I really don't want to go into details with, because I've got a sneaking suspicion that she's the kind of person that will probably find my YouTube channel or something. I don't even know. I don't even know if I should be saying these things. You know, I don't like saying when things are tough. You know that. I'm like, try so hard to just be happy human. Like, why is this a challenge? And why is it that I end up in a situation where I really am scratching my head and feeling like I'm in a Twilight Zone situation of, I thought I did everything right. I thought I was doing a really good job. I was feeling good. I was happy. I was in a good place. I cannot recall one instance of any other customer being a problem to me, or of having had a problem with me. and they won't tell me what I did wrong, so I'll never know. Which is why I've often said I sometimes do feel like an alien, and why humaning and peopling can be challenging for me. The right kind of people, though, get me and accept me, and I get a lot of positive validation from people who I get as well. Like, there's some people that'll say something, oh, I'm sorry I'm telling you all this, I'm sorry, and I'll be like, no, I love that you tell me this stuff, because it means you trust me, and your trust means more to me than anything in the world. If you want to share your story with me, I will sit and listen intently and lovingly and caringly, because you have trusted me with something that's deep within you that you feel so much shame about, that you cannot talk to other people about because people would judge you for that. I know what that feels like. I've been that person so many times, and I've been so thankful for those people who have taken the time to see through the hurt, the sadness, the grief, the anger, the whatever it is, and realize that I'm just a really good human being that's dealt with some stuff that I don't understand or shouldn't have happened. I'm happy to be that person for anybody who wants it or needs it. It's happened a lot since I've been here, and it's actually been nice, because it's been nice to be the person that could provide that for somebody else than the person who needed it from anybody else, because my cup has felt relatively full in comparison to the way I have been in the past. It's put me in a really awkward position. I said to Dean, I thought we were friends. Like, I used to tell people I love Dean. I love him. He's so kind. He's so sweet, to a fault. He's so kind and generous and sweet that sometimes he gives opportunities to people that really don't deserve them. But I'm not one of those people. And the fact that he's turned on me when I know how sweet and generous he is to some people who really don't deserve it, it really does hurt my heart. And I said, I thought we were friends. He said, I can't be friends with you, Lisa, because I'm going to be the one that has to kick you out. So, he can't kick me out right now because I have no truck. I'm still waiting for the truck to come back. And I really love it here, and I really did want to stay a long time, at least until May and the vintage van event at Caloundra, and I've got my friend Lisa coming up from Victoria, and I've got my friend Carolyn coming up from Sydney, and I felt for a little minute like it was home again. I've never really felt this good about being here the last few times, and when my health wasn't really great and things like this time, I've really, really appreciated it so much. I've really loved it here, and it just reminds me again that there is no stability and certainty in my situation. And I try to, in my head, think, oh, well, I guess you're just going to be back on the road again, and try to get okay about that. And I know I will be. Look, I've done this so many times now, and, I just have to accept the fact that there's just no place that Lisa's going to have to be able to call home. There's going to be lots of little places where I can hang out a little while, but this isn't the way I wanted it to be. But I'm sorry for getting upset. I hate this. I'm just completely real with you guys, because you're pretty much the only people who I can be real with. Actually, no, my mum and I have been talking a lot lately. We have, and again, in the spirit of just total acceptance of all the things that I couldn't hang on to. I don't want to be a person that hangs on to anger and bitterness and resentment, and because I remember reading a saying that's really quite valid, and it said holding on to anger and resentment is like drinking poison every day and expecting the other person to die. Look, Mum's actually been really amazing, and she's been my on the phone person to celebrate my triumphs, and and cheer me on while she sees how hard I've been working to not just heal, but to
stand on my own 2 feet physically, and financially and emotionally. And I'm so thankful for that we have healed to a certain extent. Like, there's still going to be things about her that drive me absolutely crazy, but I think that's mothers and daughters all the time. But if I could just accept her for who she is, and she's accepting me for who I am, I think that's a really important place. So we can talk. And my friend Tammy and Towers, I love you so much. Like, we connected through YouTube. I don't know why, how. We both had pink hair. Somehow we stumbled across each other. I don't even remember exactly how, but we talk to each other on the phone all the time. Ups and downs in both of our lives, struggles with, various things and health issues, and trying to stay happy and in challenging circumstances, family issues, you name it. She's become a really good friend. Love you, Tammy. You're the best. And I, there are a few people I do have, but when they're not necessarily in your surroundings, it's a lot harder. And I really thought I had that here. Like, we had this awesome, all the volunteers got together and Dean threw us like a barbecue pizza night, and we all sat around and chatted and said, hey, isn't this great? What a great little community we've got here. All the other, long-termers here. And then one of the girls had a birthday recently, and they did a, little bonfire thing, and we all sat around and we were all just really enjoying this vibe of little homeless community that we'd made down here. And I've been so quiet. Like, I don't make noise. I haven't even been playing saxophone in here. Like, I go busking, I come back, I shower, I eat, I sleep. I'm friendly to everyone when I'm walking around, but I'm not obnoxious, I'm not loud, I'm not in anyone's face, I'm not interrupting anyone's peace or disturbing anyone. It's just so hard when you really just want to know, what did I do that was so bad to warrant that such an extreme response, to the point where you've now pulled the rug out from under me and put me into this state of total insecurity again. Not just insecurity in my housing situation, but insecurity in my heart and my soul, because I'm really starting to wonder, like, if I'm completely misguided in thinking I am the person that I think I am. Am I wrong? Like, somebody out there thought so badly of me enough to go and complain about me, knowing full well that it would get me removed from my job and my place of housing, or, camping. And I honestly can only think of one person off the top of my head that would be. And I can't believe that one person would have the power, that one person would sway all the other good things that I feel like I have contributed and thought I was contributing and being appreciated for. Even when Pete came here and he said, Lisa, one of the first things he said to me was, Lisa, I don't think you realize how much people really like you. He said, all I hear is wonderful things about you. People speak really highly of you. Do you realize how much you're appreciated? And I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, no, I don't hear things like that very often. And it meant a lot to me to hear that. I'm like, no, I don't know what people say about me. I've never really much cared, like, I'm in my little bubble. I'm just trying to be a happy human, doing my own thing and spread joy where I can, and hide as much from everyone when I'm not feeling joyful. That's kind of how I've lived my life. And yeah, staying in one place for too long doesn't seem to work out so great for me. Look, if it's my fault, I'll own it, but it would be really helpful to know what it was so that I could adapt it and, work on it if it was something that I knew what I'd done exactly that was unacceptable. Besides, you need to learn to, what did he say? The problem with you is you just say what's on your mind. yeah, I don't know how to interpret that. If you guys have any insight into, you guys, if you've been watching me for a while, you've seen my ups and downs, you've seen the experiences I go through, you've seen my emotions and my variety of emotions. I have a psychologist appointment on Wednesday, and I will be talking about this with her, but I'm just looking for some kind of understanding at the moment, clarification, and is my perception wrong? Is my self-awareness completely wrong? Is everyone that says, reacts to me nicely faking it? And why is it that I can seem to be really, making some people happy and just other people literally set out to ruin me? I kid you not, ruin me. Anyway, I won't let them, because, I remember saying this years and years ago when somebody said, oh my gosh, Lisa, you've been through some stuff. And I said, yeah, you know what I'm like? Remember those toys? I mean, when I was a kid, this is probably going back a ways now, we're probably talking the 70s, there were these toys you could get that was like a blow-up clown. It was quite tall. As I recall, it was nearly as tall as me as a little kid. You could bop them in the nose. You bop them in the nose and they'd fall down, but then they'd bounce back up again, That's how I think of myself. You can bop me in the nose over and over again, but I'm bloody going to bounce back. I will bounce back, because I am a beautiful soul having a human experience, put here to feel all the feels, and boy, am I feeling the feels, all the feels. If that was my experience that I signed up for coming here and having this earthly human form experience, whatever it is, I don't really understand, except that the part of having amazing ability to experience joy and gratitude and just this awe and wonder and childlike enthusiasm for things that just make me sparkle so bright, that the price is that sometimes things happen that just really knock your socks off in a not so nice way. Yeah, and I will bounce back. I don't know what the future holds for me. In some good news, my videos that had been deleted from my old phone, I actually did have to pay a little bit of money, quite a bit of money, $260 actually, to get them recovered, but the computer shop was actually able to recover that data. I have it on a hard drive, and I've got to rifle through it and find the bits that I wanted to share with you from my last free camp getaway and the Michael Lunick poems and things like that, which is good news. I'll try and end this on a positive note. And there was something else. I can't remember. I'm tired. It's been a big day. It's a beautiful world, despite the challenges, right? And I'm so thankful for this platform, even though I really question why I'm contributing to something that's probably not something I agree with. As far as algorithms and AI and all that kind of stuff, I'm not a big fan, but I am thankful that it lets some of us who think outside the box and deal with life in a different way than some people can connect with each other and relate to each other and express ourselves without worrying how it's going to be perceived. Although, sometimes when you get yucky comments, it's still pretty hard, but it's not as hard as it is when it's happening in your real world and affecting your actual living situation. It's not as bad as that. So for me to be able to just talk about things and share my life with somebody and feel a little bit seen, at least, not feel like one of those invisible homeless people, which I know I am, really, but I am going to do some update stuff when I'm a bit clearer headed about some other things that are going on for me, like health update, dietary update, carnivore update, because I know quite a few of you have tuned into me via interviews I've done, and the carnivore story in particular, and ask a lot of questions about that. So I will update you because it's coming up to 2 years soon. In fact, in a couple of weeks, it'll be 2 years for me. So I will do an update on where I'm at with all that. And also, I did get interviewed by ABC News recently about the housing crisis situation and on being what they call, you know, the invisible homeless. What they mean by invisible homeless is it's a lot of older women in particular who are living the way I am, vans, cars, motorhomes, you name it, caravans, all this, but not registered with any homelessness services. So that's where the invisible homeless comes from, because, you know, when the government talks about how many people are homeless, they don't count the people like me because they don't know about us, because we don't go seeking homelessness services of any description or register for public housing or anything like that. So yeah, they interviewed me, and I don't know if they'll use the story, and also don't know, because I know I've been interviewed before, and journalists have a tendency to change your words a little bit, and sometimes you say, I didn't say it like that, but you know, it's a phone interview, so things could be edited and tweaked in a certain way. I have no idea. I hope that it's comes across the way I wanted to portray it, which was at the time, you know, not doom and gloom for me. I was pretty content with the lifestyle I am living, and I said that to him. I said, you've got me at a good time because I've got this job and I've got security and a place to stay for a while, you know. It's not always like this. And he's asking me questions like, well, what about, you know, when you get older, or if you get really sick, you know, where would you be? What would you do? And I'm like, I don't want to think about that kind of stuff right now because I'm feeling healthy and well, you know. So I think they were trying to paint a sort of a real doomy gloomy picture, because I don't think I was the only person that they'd interviewed. So they might not use my story because it was too upbeat and positive. I'm not really sure, but if it does come out, I will do a video about that and link that as well. And also I wanted to make a video. Actually, after I did the interview, I was like, I should make a video and just tell you guys about what it was that I wanted to let the ABC News know about my particular input on the housing crisis and the homelessness situation from the perspective of somebody who's not only living it but meeting a lot of other people living it as well, and have plenty to say about my ideas about that. So that's why I said to you, I'll always have plenty to say. And apparently I'm not allowed to just say what's on my mind. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to say what's on my mind from time to time. Are you cool with that? I really hope you are. But if you're not, just don't say anything at all, you know? Like Mama used to say, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So, yeah. I'll just keep doing me. And keep on keeping on, and I will survive. And yeah, love you all. See ya.